Welcome to the 19th Annual David Z. Herman Memorial FD Now event. While we would all love to be enjoying each other's company as we sample the delicious offerings at the Sephardic Temple, we are so grateful to you tonight for joining us and look forward to the day in the near future that we can be together again in person. This event is personally very meaningful to me. As many of you know, my granddaughter Bela was diagnosed with familial dysautonomia, or FD, when she was just 3 weeks old. At the time, this diagnosis felt like a death sentence for our beautiful baby girl. We thought she was doomed to a short life filled with strong medications, feeding tubes, significant illness, and developmental delays. But thank God, we are fortunate to meet Bela's hero soon after, Dr. Berish Rubin. Because of the amazing treatment protocol he and his partner, Dr. Sylvia Anderson, have discovered over the last 18 years, Bela's life was transformed into one of joy and fulfillment. Bela is about to start her senior year in high school. She is an excellent student. She participates in many extracurricular activities, hangs out with friends, and is learning to drive. Oy. Her life is nothing short of a miracle. But there are still some hurdles to overcome. Bela and FD patients around the world still struggle with various symptoms. We need a cure to help them continue to live healthy, long lives. And that's where you come in. Your support tonight ensures that our FD children will continue to grow and be healthy. Dr. Rubin and Dr. Anderson can only continue their life-saving work with your help. I would also like to thank all of you for giving our family the chance to remember David Z. Herman on his 21st yahrzeit. As Bela's grandfather, David would have left no stone unturned to help ensure her health and happiness. By supporting us, you help his legacy live on. We have a wonderful program this evening. Our guests of honor, Natasha and Ellie Srolowitz, are special friends who have been supporters of FD Now for years. Sheila Daniel, the recipient of the Philip Bach Memorial Special Person Award, was a compassionate caregiver to Philip Bach, a patient with FD. We have our FD patients from around the world who will also join together to interview their beloved doctor, Dr. Berish Rubin, director of the Lab for Familial Dysautonomia in Fordham University. Finally, we have a special guest performance by musical superstar Baruch Levine. Now I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Martin Elias, our longtime honorary chairman, friend, and champion of our cause.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Martin Elias. I have been privileged to chair the annual FD Now dinner for the past 10 years. I am delighted to see how the work of Dr. Rubin and Dr. Anderson has helped so many FD children and their families. I am a personal friend of Tara Schimmel. Her daughter Bela has FD and she is doing excellent thanks to FD Now's intense help. I would like to thank her, Tara, and her uncle Jay Mustel for all the over-the-top efforts to help FD Now. FD Now is a rare condition, and therefore there is very little funding to help find a cure. That's why every penny donated now to FD Now makes a very big difference. You are directly saving lives of children and now, thank God, young adults with FD. Thank you for donating to this wonderful cause. Together, I hope we will watch the FD children flourish and that a cure will be found really soon. Hopefully next year we could do this dinner in person and we could all get to know each other and make the organization even stronger. Thank you again.
Our first award this evening is the Special Person Award in memory of Philip Bach. Philip was a young man whose smile lit up the room despite the many challenges he had as a result of FD. He is sorely missed by his family and friends. Philip's parents will present the Special Person Award to Sheila Daniel, Philip's longtime caregiver.
This year we are giving the Philip Bach Special Person Award to someone truly special to our family. Sheila took care of our son Philip since he was 7 months old until his untimely passing at age 27. There are no words to describe her devotion to Philip throughout his life. Sheila and I experienced FD together. When I gave birth to Philip, I was young, overwhelmed, and scared of my beautiful, sick little boy. Sheila made me feel safe and gave me the confidence to mother my new baby. She taught me how to accept the situation and how to cope with all the complications and situations that came along with FD. These included hospital stays, surgeries, unpredictable crises. Sheila stood next to me. Sheila stood next to me, and most importantly, she stood next to Philip. Her support was unwavering. Sheila's love for Philip was clear, not only to us, but to everyone who knew us. And Philip loved Sheila. They say Hashem gives you what you can handle, but also knew to give us Sheila as well.
So from the bottom of our hearts, Mindy and I would be honored to present the Philip Bach Special Person Award to Sheila Daniel. Sheila, come on down.
Philip Bach Special Person Award presented to Sheila Daniel, July 19th, 2001.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Would you like
Thank
to
you,
say
David.
something?
And you. From the time I know Philip, I fell in love with him. The first day I saw him, I felt like I could not leave him. He was so special to me. And I think Philip, like I'm Philip's second mother, this is the first mother. And when they're not, myself and Mindy always on the road with him when he's sick. Doctors night and day we on the road. We sleep together, we wake together. He cry, I cry. When he feels sick, I feel sick. This is how I wanted Philip. I feel that Philip was like my own son. And I loved him dearly.
Love you, Sheila.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
Dr. Berish Rubin has saved the lives of our FD children. In our next segment, FD patients around the world will get to ask him the questions they've always wanted answered.
Hi, Dr. Rubin. I wanted to ask you, what's the most fulfilling part of your job?
Every day I wake up in the morning and I know I'll have the opportunity to help another child with familial dysautonomia. That's what drives me. That's what motivates me. That's what lights up my day.
I also wanted to ask you, how do you know when to tell a FD kid that he's allowed to eat that and not to eat something else?
A lot of my knowledge about what one can eat and one cannot eat comes from the experience that I have with some of the kids with FD who have had either positive or negative experiences with certain foods. So individuals with familial dysautonomia have an inability to process this chemical called tyramine, which is generated, for example, in aged cheeses. And when they get exposed to too much tyramine, they will develop high blood pressure in what we typically call a hypertensive crisis or a dysautonomic crisis. So tyramine is something that needs to be avoided because it can cause in individuals with familial dysautonomia a hypertensive crisis. There are other foods that I can simply look up and see what their tyramine content is. And if the tyramine content is high, then I would tell them to avoid eating that.
Thanks, Dr. Ruben, you're the best.
שלום, אני אבישי חודר, בן 15 וחצי, וגם מישראל, וגם לי יש דיסאוטונומיה. מתי תהיה תרופה למחלה?
With each new discovery that we make, and with each new therapy that we introduce to the patient population, we are bringing the children closer to a normal physiology. With the more normal we can make the physiology, the more they will be cured of the disease. I don't know when that will be, but that is our goal.
אז רציתי להודות לך, דוקטור רובין, על הטיפול המסור שלך, ובזכותך אני מרגיש ילד בריא, ויש לי שאלה בשבילך.
Once a month, I go protein-free. How does that help my body feel better?
It's a very good question. In our digestive system, we have certain bacteria that when they are exposed to protein, they will generate the molecule known as tyramine. By going through a period of time where they restrict the amount of protein that is being eaten, they reduce the ability of that bacteria to produce the tyramine. Just want to remind you that tyramine is a molecule that when it gets to a high enough level in an individual who has FD, it results in the hypertensive crisis. A hypertensive crisis is a life-threatening event that has unfortunately caused some of the children to pass away. What happens during those events is they have very high blood pressure, which can lead to a stroke. They have retching episodes that can lead to the introduction of food matter into the lungs, and it has a whole host of other challenges that a hypertensive crisis can pose to an individual with familial dysautonomia. No child wants to go through a hypertensive crisis, and no parent wants to see their child go through a hypertensive crisis. What motivated us originally to become involved in looking for a therapy for familial dysautonomia was shortly after we discovered the gene, a child had a hypertensive crisis and unfortunately had a stroke and passed away from that crisis. And that was our motivation for trying to find therapy for these kids.
Dr. Riemann, as you know, I had FD. You advised my mother to get hold of Coco. How do Coco tell me?
One of the deficits that individuals with familial dysautonomia has is they produce too small amount of a particular protein, which we call ICAP, which they need in order to survive. What we were able to discover is that if you ingest tocotrienols, it raises the level of this protein and restores it almost to normal levels, which in turn helps the individuals live a normal life, or at least a more normal life.
Dr. Riemann, your name is mentioned every day in our house. Every time we have a question, my mother emails you and you call straight away. Thank you. You hold my heart for supporting us so much. I live, Boxon, a very happy life, only because of you. I love you, Dr. Rubin.
Hi, my name's Emily Contai. I have a couple of questions. What does a typical day look like in the FD lab?
That's a good question. A typical day in the FD lab is a very busy day. We start off early in the morning and work till late at night. A lot of planning goes into the day, a lot of collaboration with other individuals, a lot of hard work goes into a particular day in the lab.
And what treatment are you working on at the moment?
We're currently working on a new natural compound which we believe will improve the lives of the children even further than they have been improved by our previous therapies. We haven't yet not announced this discovery because we are attempting to publish it before making the announcement. We are very hopeful and excited by this new discovery and expect that it will have a very positive impact on the lives of those with familial dysautonomia.
Thank you, Dr. Rubin, for all your vitamin treatment. It has made my life so much better and my health has improved a lot. Thank you.
What in a band are we?
Our biggest discovery? It's a good question. We've had many biggest discoveries. I guess the first discovery that really changed the direction of my research is the discovery of the mutation that causes familial dysautonomia. It was that discovery that enabled testing to be done for the Jewish population, which has transformed the course of history for the Jewish population. But it also made us aware of the fact that there was a possibility of developing therapies for those with familial dysautonomia. And that opened up a whole new venue and a whole new opportunity to find what ended up being life-changing discoveries that have helped these individuals.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Rubin, what's the funniest thing that happened in the lab?
What's the funniest thing that happened in the lab? I have to be very honest with you that the lab is a very serious place and nothing funny ever takes place in the lab. Spilling tea is not that funny. We are focused on the research and there's no time for fun and laughter in the lab. So, sorry, no funny things have happened in the lab. Saving lives is a serious business and that's the focus day in and day out.
Thank you, Dr. Rubin.
Hello, Dr. Rubin. I'm Laura Bale. What inspires you? Sincerely, Laura.
What inspires me? The children with familial dysautonomia are the ones who inspire me. They get up every morning and they go through their lives and face their challenges with smiles and with resolve and with good spirits, and that inspires me every single day. You are my inspiration.
Thank you for everything you do for the FD community.
Hi, Dr. Rubin. It's me, Rachel Littman. What is something surprising that people do not know about you?
I have been known to cook food for my grandchildren, but watching me cook food is an interesting experience because every ingredient I use, I weigh out, and every liquid that I use, I measure with a scientific pipette. And so watching me in the kitchen is not that different from watching me in the lab.
How does research on FD benefit other diseases?
I don't know that research on FD benefits other diseases. People have reached out to me to ask, can we apply this information to other diseases? And at this point, the focus is totally on FD, and we haven't wandered out of that venue whatsoever. There have been others who have picked up on some of our research and have attempted to apply it to other diseases, but we have not gone down that path.
Thank you so much for your work. It has made my life so much better.
Hi, my name is Nair. I have FD. I have a question for Dr. Rubin. How often do you talk with those affected with FD?
How often do I talk to those with FD? It depends on the day. I have days when I will have 5 or 6 phone calls related to issues with kids with FD or with kids with FD, and sometimes I make it through a day without having any phone calls with individuals with FD. Today it is about noontime, and I've had so far about 3 calls. One was about an individual who's having a challenge, and one was just to say hello from one of the individuals with FD.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rubin, for all your efforts.
What makes you smile?
Thinking about the success of our program and the way it has transformed the lives of those with FD makes me smile. A big smile.
What makes your research different?
When we started working on looking for a therapy for FD, we knew that time was of the essence. Shortly after we discovered the mutation that causes FD, a child with FD passed away. And we knew that therapies needed to be developed as soon as possible. And so what motivates us in the lab is the constant reminder that every day makes a difference. And so we move at it as quick a pace as we can. But also, when we initiated this work, we knew that it was important to translate our research observations into therapies for the children very quickly. And so when we went looking for compounds that would help those with FD, we looked for compounds that would be readily available to the patient population. There were other groups that looked at new drugs or FDA-approved drugs, and we knew that to get them into the mouths of those with FD would just take too long. So we went to health food stores and vitamin shops and looked for a variety of compounds that we thought would change the expression of the gene that they require. And we were successful. To put things in perspective, there was another group who published shortly after us their observation, and now 15 years later, their drug is still being evaluated by the FDA, while ours has been in the mouths of those with FD for a period dating back to 2003. So the philosophy and the realization that every day makes a difference means that we have to work quickly, and that is the motto in our lab. The motto in the lab is, every day makes a difference.
Thank you, Dr. Rubin.
Hi, Dr. Rubin. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. What drew you in to do research on FD?
Our interest in FD grew out of the fact that I have a dear friend who has a nephew with FD, and he has a few grandnephews and nieces with FD. And so when I was approached and asked to see if I could find the mutation that causes it, I was motivated because I knew it was going to help this family and all of the Jewish community.
When will FD kids be able to eat whatever they want?
With each new therapy that's developed, the bodies of those with FD improve. I cannot tell you when it will be that there will be no dietary restrictions on those with FD, but with each new discovery, we make that more of a reality, or at least more of a possibility. We work very hard in the lab, but we are only able to work hard in the lab because we are provided with support that makes it possible. Without the support that we have gotten over the years as a function of your generosity, we would not be in this place, and unfortunately those with FD would not be living the healthier lives that they're currently living. We have made a very new and interesting discovery that we believe will continue to improve the lives of those with FD. But that work will only occur with your support. It is your support that drives the lab. It is our primary source of funding in the lab. And without it, the work simply does not get done.
So on behalf of all the individuals with FD, I would like to say thank you so much for everything you do.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
Wow, that was inspiring. Thank you to all our brave FD warriors. And thank you, Dr. Rubin and Dr. Anderson. Just to let you all in on a little secret. Dr. Rubin does not just run the FD lab. He isn't just interested in the science. He is available to FD patients and families day and night to advise on all concerns. And to our Bela, he is an honorary grandparent, shepping Nachas right along with me and Bela's other grandparents at each milestone. And he promises to one day dance at her wedding, also from your mouth to God's ears. Now to present the award to our guests of honor, New York Regional Representatives of FD Now, my daughter and son-in-law, Tara and Ilan Schimmel.
Thank you all for joining us tonight to make sure that the research for our beloved FD children does not stop until a cure has been found. Tonight's guests of honor are very special people. We first met Natasha and Ellie about 8 years ago when we moved to West Hempstead. Although we're not officially related, Natasha and Ellie welcomed us into their home as if we were part of their family. We spent many Sukkot afternoons eating amazing desserts in their beautiful sukkah together with our extended family. We immediately saw why they are beloved by so many. They take the time to really get to know you and are eager to share of their talents when help is needed. They are giving of their time, but not in a disingenuous way. They figure out what's truly needed and then jump right in. When Natasha and Ellie learned about FD and how it affects our family, they right away showed their support. They touched base regularly to see how Bela was doing and supported our FD Now events over the years. And on a personal note, when we couldn't find an appropriate bat mitzvah dress for Bela, Natasha offered her daughter Sophia's bat mitzvah dress, which was a perfect fit. Despite their quiet generosity and humility, Natasha and Ellie agreed to accept this honor tonight because they knew our FD kids needed their help, and they are never ones to pass up the chance to help others in need.
So tonight, we honor them for their devotion and caring to our organization. As a token of our appreciation, please accept this gift. The plaque on the gift reads, "Presented to Natasha and Ellie Strulowitz, in recognition of your dedication, commitment, support, and efforts on behalf of FD patients around the world. FD Now, 19th Annual David Z. Herman Memorial Event, July 2021.
We decided to accept the honor because of our familiarity with the work that FD Now is doing, and we want to help in any way that we can. We have known the Schimmel family for many years, and their wonderful children, including their daughter Bela, who we have seen grow into a delightful young lady, directly benefiting from the progress of FD research. It's incredible how this privately funded organization can accomplish so much with the support of family and caring donors. But we also know that the cure has not been identified, and the advancement in treatment must continue. There's still a lot that can happen without the required research and testing. We are proud to be supporters and hope others will join us with any amount to help this critical research to continue. There is no amount that's too small. Thank you to everyone for their generosity.
Familial dysautonomia is very hard to pronounce, so we'll just refer to it as FD. As a parent, we often feel the pain of our children, which could be from something as simple as a common cold or something, God forbid, a severe injury. But what most of us can't relate to is the notion or the idea living with that feeling on a 24/7 basis. FD impacts every breath, every swallow, every heartbeat of those that are inflicted by the disease. So how does a parent cope with having a child with such a disease? And one way is having an organization such as FD Now that is literally providing a lifeline for those that are affected by this disease. And proof positive is the God willing success and the health of Bela, who we've known since she's 8 years old. And we also had a chance to learn of many others that are directly impacted by this organization. Personally, we love the Schimmels. They're our friends, they're our family, and we know firsthand how much they benefit from this organization. So as Natasha said as well, please give generously to this organization, and we thank you for all your support.
And now, for our listening pleasure, Baruch Levine.
Thank you so much, FD Now, for having me here at this dinner, virtual dinner, or whatever it is. I'm really humbled to be here, and I'm not in a place to give all of you a bracha. You've been such great supporters and friends and been through so much. So I'll allow the bracha to take place through song, the Birchas Habayis, that you should all have so much bracha in your homes and have so much nachas from your children to see your children being productive and healthy. And of course, the V'zakeni L'gadol Banan that we daven for our children. And there's no question that these songs are especially dedicated to Dr. Rubin, who have enabled our children to have productive lives and successful lives and meaningful lives. Thank you so much for what you are doing and everybody in this wonderful organization.
Yeheze ha-mokoim nove mishkan l'shalom Poisonu achlo ha-shalva Kanti doro achlo Yeheze ha-mokoim nove mishkan l'shalom bo yipagshu nachas v'simcha im bracha ve'atzlacha b'tzel zois ha'koyro Yisroinon koyel ha'toyro Zehamoy, bezai sapina, teishiruya, hashmina, betel zoisakoyro, Yisroinon koyel ha'toyro, zehamoy, bezai sapina. Hey Shiruya Ashchina Hashem Yirei Elokim Anshe Emes Zera Kodesh Hashem Veikim Keini Ligadei Bonim Uvnei Vonim Chachomim Unevavoinim Oy Yavei Hashem Yirei Elokim Yanshe Yemes Zera Kodesh Hashem Veikim Mir Mesoylo Batoyno Masim Toivim V'chol Meleches Avodas Haboyim Umir Mesoylo Batoyno Masim Toivim V'chol Meleches Avodas Haboyim Umir Mesoylo Batoyno Masim Toivim V'chol Meleches Avodas Haboyim Umir Mesoylo Batoyno Masim Toivim V'chol Meleches Avodas Haboyim. This is our bracha to you, all the parents and grandparents too, that the words of this song should come true in all of you. Umid Mesoylo Batoyno Masim Toivim V'chol Meleches Avodas
Haboyim. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us this evening for our 19th annual FD Now event. The Talmud tells us that when you save a life, you save the whole world. You, our most appreciated donors, have saved many worlds by saving the lives of our FD children. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. May you be blessed with many good years of health and nachat, enjoyment from your own families for many years. Our grand raffle will be drawn at the conclusion of tonight's event. Winners will be contacted by phone or email. L'shana haba, next year, together, in person.